The Beetle is a classless car. Doesn't matter whether you're a prince or a pauper, it can work for you. And you can drive one anywhere and people won't frown, they'll probably smile.
In its 9th year, this cool collation of collectible cars and campers provides the first opportunity of the show season to debut your freshly polished and painted wheels. It's a celebration of the air-cooled VW. What better place to start than with the show's organiser?
My name's McCutcheon, I'm the editor of Volks World magazine. I've been into VWs about 15, 17 years, something like that now, and I got into them really because a friend of mine had one. It got sideswiped by a Capri and he bought it up here. It was a complete write-off, but it still drove, so we used it around the fields, and it was a fun car, and I kind of got hooked on them. The first VW I ever had was a 1962 Beetle, lowered suspension, sort of a peach-coloured paintwork, sunroof that pulled all the way back, a sort of custom car, very 80s, but then it was in the early 80s, mid-80s, so it was in keeping with the time. Lovely car. VWs first started off as the brainchild of Ferdinand Porsche, who's obviously famous for the 911 Porsches, 356 Porsches, and the newer ones, obviously. He wanted to design a car for the people, a car that would be cheap to use, easy to maintain, and he came up with the idea of the Volkswagen, the people's car. And in 1938, the first VW was shown to the people. 1945, the British went into Wolfsburg, the VW factory, found the weird little Beetle, started creating them, started building them, low volume numbers. By 54 they were into America. By these mid-60s people had started customising them, personalising them, and in California, certainly by the end of the 60s, they'd really started tuning them up and making them go fast and created a whole new scene. By the 70s, obviously sales of VWs have started to tail off a little bit. You had a situation where the car was updated every year, but still a very old design. The sales in America had dropped off quite severely. We had a fuel crisis, and whilst the vehicle is economical, it was still an old vehicle now. VW needed something new, hence the Golf. I suppose the appeal of VWs to me is that there's no other car like them. They're not like a modern car. OK, they're a bit cramped inside. They're noisier, as you can hear. But for me, they're unique. There's no other car like them. I think the thing that makes people passionate about VWs is basically that you can make it an extension of your personality quite easily, low budget. You can change a normal looking car into your car, so when you go to a show people know that's your car, and I think that's really what keeps people fired up about these cars. There's various different lifestyles involved in the VW scene. Surfers like them. You've only got to go down to Newbury and you can see people camping by the side of the road. You can get the surfboards in them, on them, loads of camping gear. You can go away for a week. They're big enough to sleep in, obviously. With the California look scene, with the tuned VWs, i.e. the Beetles, that's another scene altogether. Then you've got things like the vintage scene. Pipe and slippers, sitting round having sandwiches at a concours d'elegance, completely different scene again. Ravers like them, don't know why, but they do. Girls like them, great, we like girls. Well, this is a 70s car. The good thing about this one is basically that you can buy one cheaply. Low owner, low mile car, £2,000, and you've got a good one. For say another £1,500, you can make your car look unique, as this one does. This one we're giving away at the show, so over the weekend one lucky person will be driving away with this. Obviously with this car, this is more money. A lot more money. To find a good one to start off with, you're probably looking at about £3,000 or £4,000. Then to get it up to this spec that you see here, you're probably looking at about another £15,000. The camper van is, this is a bay window camper van. They did two types, one with a split screen at the front, 2 windscreens, which was up to 67, and then the later bay window. You'll see a lot more of these on the road. They're cheaper to buy, cheaper to fix up, and very, very popular. They actually drive a lot better than the split screen camper van, and that's another bonus with this one. Volks World, the magazine, started back in 1988. There was a need for a sort of hip and happening magazine to cover the VW scene, and there hadn't been one up until then. It was an instant success. First of all, it was quarterly, and then after that, it became every month, basically, a monthly publication, and we haven't really looked back since. Volks World shows the biggest of its kind in the country. There are many outdoor shows, but ours is more of an exhibition. It's held inside, with trade stands around the outside, and the best show cars in the country on display. Around about 100 cars. 10,000 people a day go there over the weekend, and it's the place to debut your new show car. All we've got to do now is we've got to get the team together and work out what cars are going where. You know, we have to sort out themed displays at the event, you know, whether it be camper vans, California-look Beetles, original Beetles, custom, etc., etc. We've got a few more stands to sort out around the outside of the show, but, you know, it's really just who's going where, confirming things, and with just over a week to go, it's all systems go, but we can cope.
Down the pub, Ivan, Paul and Simon add the finishing touches to their master plan.
¿Cuánto tiempo quieres?
Friday morning sees the arrival of the first show cars to Sandown Park Racecourse.
You've got a massive great area there, so I've already got I've already got your spot, don't worry.
Well, thankfully they're in the same place as they were last year, which is out there. Okay.
By the split screen fan club?
Yeah.
Okay. Give me 2 seconds and I'll go and find it. Is it make the...
You've been waiting for 40 minutes.
40 minutes? I'll give him a smile.
The car is a 1958 Karmann Cabriolet. It came in from California as a complete wreck. Sat in a garage for about 10 years in this country before I went and looked at it and decided to throw a lot of money at it.
My first car was a VW Beetle, which I learnt to drive in when I was 17. And then I had a 1303, which was good fun. And then I eventually bought a Cabriolet, which I've always wanted.
We met in 2000 at VW Action in Peterborough when we happened to park next to each other, and Danielle driving a 1978 Karmann Cabriolet with a 1600 injection engine in it, which is slightly more modern than mine. We've been friends ever since then, and we go to all the shows we can go to together. and yeah, we just like love, breathe and sleep VWs really.
We're going to get that car on that ramp somehow. Typical Volkswagen owners, we're going to use the oldest car here to test it.
A diverse range of vehicles from ragtops to buggies are all here for a chance to win in the show and shine.
Well, basically, it's a Meyers Manx. It's like a reissue on the original Manx that was built back in the 60s by Bruce Meyers. It's based on a 62 Volkswagen Beetle floor pan. And then, as I say, it's a modern kit that you put on top. I've turned up early today ready for the show because we've got to get it inside later because of getting it clean and ready for the best buggy, maybe best of show, turns what happens. But yeah, nice and early, ready to go for the weekend. It's not about winning, you know, really, to us. You know, it's about having a good car and a clean car and getting it inside and getting it with other people so you can show that it can be done. We're not out for the prize, really. You know, the prize is having the car and driving it. You know, inside it looks good, and that's where it'll be. And people can ask us how they did it and what it's all about.
Entrants are attracted from all over Europe.
My name is Jerome from Switzerland. I live in Fribourg, and he's Alain, and he's the owner of these vehicles. Well, this car is a Fridolin VW model from Post Switzerland and Deutschland too. It's a model from 73. This weekend I think it's difficult to win. A lot of vehicle is good, very good.
Although things appear to be running smoothly, Ivan runs around like a blue-bottomed fly in order to coordinate the arriving motors.
Just got to check downstairs, make sure everything's happening down here that should be. Got a few too many cars. We've booked about 8 too many. We always book in too many in case some don't show up, but they've all shown up so far. Fine. It's wild, isn't it? Yeah. What's the story?
It's bits of all different years of Beetles, from 56 to 70-ish. It's 7.5 litre V8, about 500 brake
in the
horsepower.
front.
In the front. Road legal. There's no 12-second quarter miles. Roof chopped, pillarless, metal flake paint. Drove to Belgium and back last week.
Did you?
Done 700 miles in the last week. Averaging about 18.5 to the gallon.
Well, that's not bad, is it?
Pretty good.
Not for an engine of that size. And have you done it all yourself?
Yes.
All of it?
Yeah.
Bernard Newbury. I'm 58 years old. I'm a coach trimmer, and I just love VWs. I love cars in general, and I love racing. I was going to the shows as a coach trimmer, and I needed something really to sell at the shows, and I got involved and met Gene Berg when he came over here. He was the guru in the States for engine parts. You wanted a quick VW, you'd use Gene Berg parts. They were good quality parts. I'm the official English distributor for them. And now, in memory of him, because he died a few years ago, I built this car. And this is their 67, their replica of their 67 that they raced in the 80s and 90s in the States. So I've copied it with their blessing. Even the race number there, that's the original race number from the car. It's not quite as quick as the original yet, but it should get there. It's pretty quick still. It was new last year, so the first season is still... You're still ironing out the little problems that you have with it, and hopefully I've ironed them out last year. So I'm hoping for better things this year. I think it's capable of low 11 seconds. You know, this year we've got new slicks, big wider slicks we're trying. We've done some work to it, up the compression. So I'm hoping for low 11 seconds.
I've been a Volkswagen fanatic since about 1984, and this car is fairly special. I think it's the oldest restored car in Britain, and the magazine was very keen for me to put it on the stand here. Well, the car is a 1948 year, which is a watershed. It's the last year that faithfully reproduces the pre-war design of Professor Porsche, and then the model changed for 49, and many of the old features were lost. One of the many features that disappeared from this car in 49 was the crank starting handle. Electrics being what they were, you had a backup system if you needed to get going. Ironically, it's a British-made car. In 1948, the factory was still being run by the British military, and the following year it was handed back to the German people. I bought the car from a German who'd taken 10 years to amass all the hard-to-find parts and basically sold it to me disassembled into 2,000 pieces. We did a completely ground upwards restoration. It took the best part of 4.5 years, and this is the finished result. This is the original colour. There were no shiny paintwork in those days, and the choice was between an opaque grey, an opaque black, or an opaque green, which I think was allied to which military force it was destined. The British took grey, the Americans took green, and I think the French took black. The reaction to most people is to be fairly gobsmacked when they see this car and ask me how on earth I managed to get together all the parts you need to restore such a rare vehicle. I'm happy that everybody does their thing with VWs. I like to see the power cars, the customs, the lowered, but my own personal taste is to keep it strictly original and vintage.
One of the rarest vehicles in the show has arrived, courtesy of this man.
My first VW was quite a few years ago, in about 1981, and it was a Karmann Ghia. I got interested in them after reading Hot VWs magazines, and just went on from there. I had one Karmann Ghia, 2, 3. After that, it became sort of necessary to start a business to find all the parts I needed for my own restoration. I used to originally be into the customised Volkswagens, but after a while I started looking at the older ones and decided that they were more like antiques, like a really nice antique piece of furniture or architecture, and restoring them's a lot more passionate to actually get the originality and get them back to how they were. But whereas with a customised one, you can just kind of have carte blanche and do what you like. The Headmuller really has that classic sort of slope-back rear that no other Volkswagen ever had. It's almost like a push-me-pull-you. The back's got a similar slope to the front. And that no other Beetle or Volkswagen has ever had that style. The Headmuller here behind me, 1949 Headmuller, most of them were made in 49. It was the first Beetle convertible available to the public before Karmann built them. Made approximately 700. They've got an excellent survival rate, probably over 100 examples still running and in existence. Just a very rare 2+2 convertible Volkswagen, very desirable. Everyone wants one. I used to have one, but I've sold it, but I've just finished this one for a customer.
Outside in the sunshine, this unlikely-looking old Beetle could be about to break a record.
Hi, my name's Doug. We're here to try and ram as many people into this Beetle on the outside, inside, up, down, sideways, whatever you want. See if we can get about 50, maybe 60 people. See if we can go for the record.
Is everyone happy? That was rubbish. Was everyone happy? do is once you've beaten the world record, we'll count you off. Let's rock and roll. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Come on down. It's looking good. First person, you madman. Right, we need some people inside, obviously. Okay, I think we're nearly, I'm not sure, I think we're nearly there.
Eventually, every available inch of the car's bodywork is covered in VW.
Right, basically, this is what it's like travelling on a train in India. Very similar. Anyone brave enough?
Oh, do you need...
Right, we're going to take you on. So everyone at the back of the vehicle, if you know who you are, step on that way, we'll count you through and make it slow, please. Come on, let's hear it for them. 31 already. Rush anywhere, everyone, as you know, VW Bratz are going to be doing their drag race. 83, 84, 85, 88. Bring it on!
Yeah, that was a new record, 88, brilliant.
It was cosy. I had someone bum here. Straight on in there, it was like, whoa! But no, it was cool, good fun, bloody hot, frankly.
The VW Bratz are making their way out.
Interesting smells, definitely interesting smells. But we could still see a bit of daylight outside, so I reckon they could have got a couple more, frankly. Inside, can't see for the outside, obviously, but inside, space for a couple more folded in, I reckon. Good fun, though, good laugh.
My name's Dean Weaver and I work for Wolfsburg Performance Services in Woking, and we build hot street and race strip engines. Basically, to start building a performance engine, you need to first decide exactly what you want from that car, and then we will then get the appropriate parts. We start with the case, which is always a genuine VW case, brand new. Then we start with new crank, a new cam. Everything that we can get new, we will do. Everything is balanced to make sure that it runs smoothly, keeps the longevity of the engine. And then we can do anything from a stock head, cylinder head, with stock size valves, right up to something that is a big race head. So, you know, we can build engines from a car that perhaps will do a 15-second quarter mile up to something that could do an 8 or a 9. Right, this is my car. It's a 55 oval window Beetle. I've had it for a couple of years, slowly been changing it to the style I wanted, which is 70s Gasser race style. We are building an engine for it at the moment, which could be a 1776. Hopefully down the quarter mile drag strip we should do about low 13. The fastest engine we've probably built so far was for a friend's car last year, which was called Little J. Unfortunately, I only had one outing. It did a best time 11.51 at 115 miles an hour. But on the Sunday of Bug Jam, unfortunately, the car went out of shape and it rolled 2 or 3 times, unfortunately. But the guy that was driving was fine. That's about the quickest engine we've built so far, but everything else is generally between the 12 and 14 second bracket on average. The Rat look generally is a car quite often with original paint that's very looks very rusty, as if it's going to fall apart, but is actually pretty solid. You know, painted primer, anything like that, so it looks really ratty generally. We do like that look generally because it costs so much money to get cars painted and so nice. We all have got nice painted cars, but generally the fun cars, if they're a little bit scuffed here and there, a few dents, adds to the character. And, you know, if you do catch it here and there, it's not so much of a problem.
This car itself came from California, hence the faded paint, but it's actually been made to look a lot worse than what it is. You don't really get many Type 3s done this way, and this one's probably one of the first. It's quite a rare car because of the sunroof. It needs an interior, and it needs someone to love it, which I don't. But I prefer driving this car than a shiny car, because in a shiny car, I seem to think that everyone's going to bang into it, and I'm sort of really worried. With this, people clear out the way. So I don't like shiny cars. I like messy things. My house is a mess, my workshop's a mess, my head's a mess. This car suits me.
Hi, my name's David Lloyd-Jones from Santapod Raceway. I organise Big Bang and Bug Jam, 2 Volkswagen events we do at Santapod. This is Natasha, who was runner-up last year of the Sportsman VW DRC, and today we're practicing reaction times on the Christmas tree. The Christmas tree works on a rolling stage. When you go into stage, you then go to pre-stage. When the 2 cars are side by side, you then wait for the lights to drop, and then you go on the green light. You're trying to get 0.5 seconds of perfect reaction time, and Natasha's let's go for it now. Perfect.
The man behind one of the UK's leading VW body shops gives us an insight into how to build show-stopping cars.
My name's Simon Emery. I started painting Volks back in 1988. We basically restore Volkswagens and build VW show cars. You've got a varied range of cars. You've got everything from the humble Beetle right the way through to Karmann Ghias, split-screen campers. The people who own them seem to be a little bit different. It's just a good mixture of cultures, really, from music right the way through. When we customise a Volkswagen, we'll sit down and have a little chat with the customers, work out some ideas and some plans. That can take anything up to a year to do. And once we've actually got the car in the workshop, we'll actually pull it apart to every last nut, bolt, screw, washer, get it bare metalled, sandblast it, repair any corrosion, and then really from there start doing all the sort of aesthetics on it and any modifications, bits and pieces like that, right up to sort of full-blown paint schemes and race cars and all that. Usually it ranges in scale from literally just a restoration on maybe an early 60s or 50s Beetle where they just want it back to stock, right up to full-blown Porsche sheeting, kind of big motored, big braked cars, right the way across the range really. As far as the Volkswagen scene goes at the moment, you've got such a wide variety of cars from the sort of rat look stuff right the way through to the full-blown stuff. As far as we're concerned, anything goes.
The Saturday Shindig provides a chance to have a drink, a dance, and a good argument about who's going to carry off the top prizes.
It's a Type 3 Ghia, razor edge Ghia, 1962, been fully restored with a few tricks in the paintwork. 60s, 70s custom style, I suppose is the best way to describe it. We've done it to look like a customised car, but basically the only major customising we've done to it is we've removed the original indicators and debadged it. Other than that, it's pretty much as it would have been, obviously other than the paint as well, from the factory. This is the first time this car has been out. We've been working hard over the last few months to get it here to be debuted, really. And Volks World is the show to do that. You'd expect the sort of purists, I suppose, to perhaps not like the car, but it seems to have appealed to most people.
I got into VWs kind of a remembrance of when I was little. Uncle had a Beetle. I remember being on the drive. Wanted one when I passed my test. Ended up with a very cheap one, and it's just sort of grown from there, really. For me, the appeal of the Volkswagen scene is the friendships you make, the places you can get to go to, and we go all over the country to different shows, well, all over the world, really. Most of our holidays are Volkswagen related. It's just the friendships, really.
My name's Rikki James. I work with the Split Screen Van Club. I have been since 1986. We're a group of VW Type 2 enthusiasts, and we do all the shows with all the rest of the VW enthusiasts, but we specialise in the Type 2s. The reason why I'm into VWs is because of the scene, undoubtedly. The family environment, the vibe that goes with Volkswagens, the whole emphasis of Volkswagen. It's like, I've said it once and I'll say it again, we're one big happy family. I mean, you have a VW show and we all go to the same place and we all hook up. You know, people you haven't seen over the winter. You hook up and you meet up and you know, hi, how you doing and all that. And it's the same, you know, it's a good vibe. Everybody's happy. It's, you know, one minute you've got like a retired couple parked next to some youngsters with a rolling wreck, and it's just, you know, it's a real cross section. You cannot be specific about what type of person owns a bus. It is a total cross section. Split screen vans are generally more desirable than bay windows, simply because of their character, their age, their value. So consequently, that's the type of vehicle that people have moved on to. This is great because it makes the club, our split screen van club, a lot bigger. However, it just pushes the price of the vans through the ceiling. I mean, it's got completely out of hand. The days of a £400-500 split are well and truly gone. This van is the 5th Samba that I've had or owned. Each one has been getting earlier. I started with a 1967, then I had a 65, then a 60, then a 58, and now this one, the 54. The 54 is one of the oldest buses in the world. It is the oldest right-hand drive Samba in the world. As opposed to a full-on restoration like I've done with all my other buses, this one I decided to go a little bit. I've got out of that kind of concourse scene and the show scene. You know, I've had my fill of that. I wanted to create a kind of a racing bus. So what have I done? I've changed all the brakes from the standard bus drum brakes to disc brakes all round. I've changed the gearbox. It's now running a Porsche 911 box and a Porsche 914 2.6 engine race motor. It rocks. Let's say that, it rocks. The front of this bus is quite different to the others because of its age. There's another one up there, a 51, quite similar, but what you find different is things like the fronts don't have an overhang like that one has, so consequently they developed a thing called a bare air scoop, which is what this thing is. That allows cold air to go into the cockpit area. I've put some Porsche grills over the lenses just for a bit of, you know, a bit of funkiness. Now moving around to the side here, you can see the mirror arms on this bus are located halfway up the pillar of the windscreen pillar, as opposed to here on later buses, so that makes it unique as well. Moving down the side of the van, I've narrowed the beam with the disc brakes on the side. I mean, as far as coring is concerned, it's not quite as good, but for coolness, it is. Now, the most expensive part of the bus so far is the 914 Porsche engine with Porsche fan, upright Porsche fan, magneto, 48 IDF carburation, and a 911 gearbox. A lot of work and a lot of money, but well worth it. That's what makes it run a 15-second run on the strip, which is what it was all about, which is why I developed it that way. This is a special bus. It's cost a lot of money, but it's what I wanted. It's my last bus, and that's the way I wanted it. A fast, safe, ratty, hard-looking bus with attitude.
One of the surprise entrants to the show and shine is this car, back from a long sabbatical.
I built this 10 years ago, this car. I don't get used very much, but every time I get it out of the garage, I fall in love with it again, you know? And this is really just to demonstrate what a coach trimmer does for a living. This was built from scratch, from absolutely nothing, like aluminium, wood, leather and carpet, but everything is handmade in this, apart from the steering wheel, which was made in the States specially for me. Even down to the gear shifts around, that was made in the workshop by hand, and the gear knob was made, and the handbrake car, everything was handmade in-house. It's had a lot of work done by a friend of mine, Simon, at Paintbox. We've chopped the roof pillars, we've moved the whole roof forward, we've put Porsche lights in it, we've taken all the bumps out of it, out of the body. I changed it from left to right-hand drive. We've put one single wiper on it. There's so many modifications to it, it's untrue. If you were to put it next to a standard one, you'd see. The greatest moment really of the car was when it won Best in Britain at the Doncaster Rod Show about 4 years ago, and I think it's the only VW ever to have been invited to the show and have won Best in Britain there. But I just love the car. Don't use it very much because my wife doesn't like to be seen in it because she gets embarrassed because everybody looks at it.
Couldn't have asked for better weather. It's way up as far as the turnstiles are concerned. Everybody seems to be having a great time. Best show yet, I think.
Yeah, these are mini split buses. They're 125 scale replica of an original 1960s bus. And we've gone on from toy boxes to complete chassis, petrol engines, electric engines, with reverse gears for the children obviously. We've gone right up to at the moment a Honda C90 which is capable of 60 miles an hour. We normally drive them, the electric one, which is the green one, which I've got over here. I actually take out my door and I just take it down the park in here. Obviously, I have to steer it for her. Petrol ones, we're going to actually race here today. I think about 11:30 we're going to do electric racing, petrol racing, and we're going to give you a demonstration of a burnout in a Honda C90 powered engine. Tactics for the race, I'm going to launch obviously with my 24 volt powered electric motors and top out probably in excess of over 8 miles an hour. There will be sparks flying because there's a lot of rivalry between obviously us and Volks World, but I'm sure I'll come off the best anyway. Not very happy now, obviously. I've had a couple of losses and I've just had enough of the day. Little guy, 8 years old, he's just a total cheat. Electric powered, petrol powered. I should have won it, I've had it, I'm off.
With the judging in full swing, we find out what is involved.
My name is Keith Hume. I'm Volkswagen journalist and author. And today I'm going to be doing some of the judging here. Judging is an important part of any show. Obviously the exhibitors take a lot of time and effort to get their cars up to standard. And it's up to us as judges to try and look at them in immaculate detail. Basically, we're looking for high quality of paintwork, well-detailed interior, well-prepared engine, nice and clean underneath. And each part of the car is judged on a maximum of 50 points. So you might give the car 40 points if it's, for paint, if it's very good, but there are a few blemishes in it. Engine-wise, we're looking for an engine which is nice and clean, nicely detailed, no oil leaks, etc. And underneath the car, we don't really want to see lots and lots of underseal. We'd like to see nice shiny paint and chrome-plated parts. This year, the quality of the vehicles is higher than ever. There are two vehicles which, to me, are real standouts. One is the orange and silver VW bus, and also the gold Karmann Ghia of Joe Gallagher. These two vehicles are just head and shoulders above so many others. But probably one of the best California-look cars outside of America is the car of Mike Sylvester over here, which this grey car. Absolutely fantastic. And the quality of the paintwork is tremendous. The way that the car sits, lowered at the front, and it has a big engine, it just captures the California look absolutely perfectly. When you get the artificial lights on, you can see if there's any blemishes, whatever. In this case, there's just nothing to be seen at all. Look for the detail, the chrome work, how well it's finished. There's no rust, no pitting, nothing. Even in things like insides, the bumpers are all nicely finished off. They've been painted, smoothed off, so they're as shiny in here as it is on top. And when you look underneath the car, again in this case, it's absolutely spotless. It's really hard to think that a car could be any better detailed than this. I mean, wherever you look, inside, outside, underneath, it's perfect in every way.
It's almost the end of the show. With the judging complete and the scores added up, it's time to find out the prize winners.
I'd like to say thanks very much to all of you for bringing your cars and for coming to the show. I reckon it's been the best one yet. I don't know about you. What do you think? Well, that was nearly good. Right, first one, best modified Type 2. I don't know who's got Volks World this month, but it's over there. David D's, a green and white one. Awesome. Well, sir.
Thank you, Ivan.
There you go. If you can, we've got the best Type 1. That's the best Beetle in here, and the judges have voted for a car which also happens to be the oldest Beetle in here. It's just behind you. It's the grey one on the plinth, 1948, and it's absolutely amazing. Sean Geddes. You have to get your trophy and congratulations. Right, the next one, this car's been around a few years now, about 10 years I think. It's won loads and loads and loads and loads. Anyway, best modified Karmann Ghia, Bernard Newbury. Right, the final one, the big one, best of the show. Who do you think it is? I'll give you a clue. It's gold. It's a Karmann Ghia Type 3 down there. Megan Princess. Come on!
Remember the competition car? Now, who's going to be driving home in that 1303?
Mark Wardell from Euro Car Parts is going to pull out the first person. Everyone wins a bottle of champagne, so that's a good start. And also Euro Car Parts vouchers, which they can spend at Euro Car Parts, obviously. Zoe Fletcher, you've just won a...
That's not the first prize.
Oh, right. This is the winner. Zoe Fletcher, you have won a 1303 Beetle, the project car. Congratulations, let's hear it. Are you here? Are you here? Hooray!
Well done. There's your keys.
You just won a car. There's some champagne. And there's your keys.
Nervous, numb, excited.
Zoe got me into Beetle sort of last year. I really wasn't that interested, they were old bangers to me, but we got one and just got the bug, and it's fantastic, yeah, unbelievable. Especially now we've got this one.
Two lucky competition winners and 10,000 happy showgoers head off onto the roads of Surrey, already eagerly anticipating next year's Volks World show, which will be celebrating its 10th anniversary. See you there.